Hey Bird fans, this is Steve Thate, and you're listening to Bird Fans Forever podcast. And as the director of media content, I approve this message. Go Birds!
Hello everyone, welcome to Redbird Fans Forever podcast number 15. Reminder to everyone, if you haven't already done so, to follow us on Twitter at birdfansforever. And our central point of information is our website, www.birdfansforever.com. On the website, you can find a tab with links to our podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify, and others, as well as a tab to access our videos on YouTube. We're also called Bird Fans Forever. So subscribe and follow us on Twitter and YouTube so you can be up to date with everything going on from us. Our guest for today is current student at Illinois State University since 2021, Redbirds Superfan, and Red Alert section leader Trevor Arbogast. We'll hear more on this later, but apparently he's an ISU basketball recruiter on the down low. We'll be right back with Trevor.
This is Bird Fans Forever podcast, and we are here with Trevor from Red Alert. Now, Trevor's going to pronounce his last name because we know the big dyslexic man needs a lot of practice with last names. So, Trevor, help me here.
All right, it's Trevor and then Arbogast. So Arbogast or Arbogast is good too. So, honestly, I'll take Trevor A. That works too. But, yeah, Trevor Arbogast. Not really
Perfect.
super offended by the O or the Ah.
Well,
Awesome.
Trevor, since we're such good friends, we'll just call you Trevor. We won't worry about the last name. So Trevor, we do this to all our guests. Tell us about how you got to ISU. And by the way, you've only been to ISU for a very short time, so you should be able to remember this, unlike some of our older guests, which have trouble recalling this.
Yeah, so luckily, being a student right now, I have no excuse to, miss out on the details. But I was born in Lawrence, Kansas. My mom and dad went to school out there and then moved to Bloomington Normal when I was 3 years old. Basically, I'm a big-time Illinois State Redbirds fan, but my origin was really with the Jayhawks. And I've got a chair right here that is from the Final Four from 2018. And I went down with my parents that year to the game. But before that, a whole lot of fun was when I went to the Elite Eight versus Duke. And that was in Omaha. And I remember just being at that game and, just that Grayson Allen shot at the end of regulation. I thought that was going to end Kansas this season, and it didn't. But I remember just having fun going to that game. And that's where a lot of my passion for basketball and college athletics really started. Yeah, it was being a Jayhawk fan.
So Trevor, the Kansas was in Chicago this year, and I just happened to be at the Sweet 16. I didn't tell you about this beforehand, but so I saw them, in the Elite Eight. They killed Miami. Where were you? Were you guys at Chicago, or now you're such a dedicated ISU fan, you don't go to those Kansas games anymore?
Right. No, I am focused on the Birds, but I can actually say that during that, I was at that game. So I was in the United Center for the Elite Eight. I've been to a couple of Elite Eights now. So that Duke game in 2018 and then the 2022 against Miami. I remember, that was just so much fun. I went out there with my parents. Yeah.
I will say this, Trevor. Some of the fans, right, that aren't fans of the teams that are there, they wear their own thing. So I was walking around with my Illinois State gear both days there. So I didn't see you wearing your stuff. Were you wearing Kansas stuff?
Yeah, I was definitely wearing my I was wearing my Mitch Lightfoot shirt. So I'm sorry, I apologize, but I am full Birds all the time. Ever since I became a student section leader, it was all Birds until the Birds were done with their season, and then I enjoyed the magical run. But this summer, I have been working with marketing and doing a lot, getting ready for the football season, the Redbird basketball season, the volleyball, and I've just been really, thankful for everything that Illinois State's been giving me opportunity-wise.
All right, so before we jump into the Red Alert stuff, you got to show us your show and tell.
Okay. So in 2009, I was out, for a Halloween party. with my girlfriend at the time, and basically she was friends with somebody who was friends with the Jankoviches, and they lived right next door. So they said, hey, before we start going, door to door doing trick or treating, we're going to go, talk to the Jankoviches and have like some chili, and you'll just hang out for a little bit. And I was like, we're going to hang out with the Jankoviches? Like Coach Jankovich? Redbird basketball coach? So I was like, oh, wow, So I got over there, I'm looking like Steve Prefontaine. I dressed up like a runner that year because I ran high school cross country and track. So my idol growing up was Steve Prefontaine. And so I dressed up like him, and I remember showing up just mesmerized. I mean, I couldn't believe it that I was in his kitchen. And so I'm there, and I'm like, I got to get an autograph because I don't know when I'm going to see Coach Jankovich like this again, other than in the stands. So I grab a napkin, and I walk over, and like, hey, could you sign this for me? I don't have a pen, but could you sign this for me? And Mrs. Jankovich says, whoa, no, we're not going to do that. So I'm freaking out because I'm like, oh goodness, did I just, I didn't know I wasn't supposed to ask for autographs, so but she said, no, not the napkin. Like, we can get you something better than that. So she goes upstairs and she grabs a official program media guide from the year, and she, brings it down, and Coach Jankovich signs it for me and says, to a fellow Kansan, Tim Jankovich. So there is a reason behind the Kansas story. There was a connection with Coach Jankovich and I that we were able to talk about because him being an assistant at KU, big time Jayhawk fan, but also he really got me into the Birds, and it was really fun to be able to watch Osiris Eldridge. I mean, at the same time, but having a Kansas connection to Illinois State really for me was one of those big time eye-opening things, and my grandma had season tickets, so. Yeah, that's my Tim Jankovich. Yeah, to a fellow Kansan.
Love it.
So growing up in Normal, how many games would you go to a year?
Oh my! So I would go to quite a few. I would say anywhere from 5 to 10 games. I know that's kind of a gap, but a range, but. I would try to go to as many games as I could because my grandma had season tickets. So what we would do is she had 2 tickets. So she would take somebody, that'd be my mom sometimes, it'd be my dad, might be my grandfather, but I would go as well. So she would take me to the games, and she'd try to take me to the, since I was her favorite, she'd take me to the fun games. I go to the Bradley game. I go to, like Indiana State if I wanted the Creighton games. So, I had a lot of fun going to those games with my, relatives. But, I try to go as much as I could because, I lived over in Park Place. So I was only about a 5-minute drive away from Redbird Arena, 10-minute for most people. But, yeah.
So growing up, you're watching those teams. Did you have a favorite team or a favorite player growing up?
So I really liked, Osiris Eldridge is the easy answer. But I like Dina Odiakosa. I like the, I'm going to pander a little bit, but I like the bigs. I like being able to, be strong in the paint. I like, basically giving someone like Osiris Eldridge some space, and I think that you can't have that without some bigs, and I do this, I don't know why, but I roll birds, I'm a big now. Actually, in junior high, this is laughable. They actually played me in 6th grade, at center. I played for because I was in CCD, I actually played for St. Mary's a little bit. So they put me in because I was the tall person. So I'm like, I was 5'7". But I'm like, whoa, what? I'm a center. I was like, this is really positionless basketball. We were ahead of the curve. I'm out there playing center. But yeah, overall, Redbird basketball, going to the games at Redbird Arena has been so much fun, and I try to go as many times as I could, mainly with my season ticket holder, grandmother. But yeah.
So you're in town. So how do you end up going to ISU?
Okay, so my grandfather was a teacher, and I kind of wanted to do marketing-related things, sports marketing, but I found out that that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a history teacher. I wanted to kind of follow in my dad's footsteps as well. He works at State Farm, but he's got an education background. He's in IT, but he really gave me a love for social studies and for sports and for just learning in general. And I really wanted to follow in the footsteps of being a teacher and helping other people with, like what is their passion? What do they want to do with their life? And really just support. I think I'm more of a motivator. Not that I don't have, academic abilities as well, but I've always been, proud of the ability to get the best out of other people and try to get people to be, excited about what they do. And I think that translates for me really well in the student section leading and being a part of Red Alert.
Yep. And ISU's got a great teacher school.
They do.
Right?
Yeah, and being a townie, I never, it was always one of those things that, it's ISU. I live right next to it. I want to get out. But the more that I realized that what we have here is so special, not only from an academic standpoint, but being close to family, being close to friends, and having that familiarity. I think that one of the advantages of being a townie is where things are beyond just uptown. And you have those experiences of going to, Hancock Stadium and going to, I wasn't able to go to Horton, but Redbird Arena my whole life. Horton was, for me, I'd go for swimming events and I ran in a track meet there, but I never was able, I wasn't lucky enough to actually see a basketball game there. But I just really enjoy, everything that is, the athletic side of ISU, but the academics, and it just made sense to me, and I thought that, stay home, not just because, you're close to what you know, but because I got a chance to go to ICC and I got a chance to be close to Peoria, and that means, Bradley right there, and I went to a couple of those road games, and I realized that Peoria wasn't really for me, and I wanted to go back to, ISU, and exactly, I enjoyed everything that I've done here, being involved with sports, and then basically getting ready to coach athletics and teach, and I'd love to be a Unit 5 teacher. So
that is awesome.
Thanks. So Trevor, you finally made your way to ISU, and I'm sure one of the first things you did was join Red Alert, being a big sports fan. So tell us about that experience, and then ultimately how you became a leader within Red Alert.
So welcome week of 2021. I'm on the quad, walking around, looking at the things to do, because, transferring over to ISU, I didn't really know anybody, and I wanted to be involved, and I wanted to, actually enjoy my 4-year university experience. And I saw the Red Alert table, being a big athletic fan, a sports guy, I went over and I was like, well, I really want to go to these games. I want to go to all the games. Where do I get season tickets? So they told me, you sign up and you'll get an exclusive T-shirt. You'll get in all that. But so this is the T-shirt. It's Thumbs Up Reggie with the cursive design. And oh my gosh, it's a beaut. We're really proud of it. We're call back to that wonderful logo, a wonderful time of Redbird basketball. And I think that excitement is not only, like with the new coach, but just, that logo I think is just brings a level of excitement and passion to Redbird athletics. And I remember seeing, I was like, okay, I got to join. So I signed up for Red Alert, and basically I started going to the football games, and I started going to, the volleyball games. And the volleyball games were so much fun. Having gone to the NCAA tournament now 4 years in a row, it was just I didn't realize how much fun Redbird Arena could be beyond just, like men's basketball. And I remember going to all these different events and just being so excited and meeting new people and showing up early and just, the band and everything that, had to do with ISU athletics. And I remember, going to the basketball games, I would show up, like an hour 15 before because, the gates would open an hour before. So I'd get there an hour 15, so that I would get my spot because I really wanted to have, the same spot for each game. And that was, right down there by the band, the south end, behind the basket, so I could be first row. When the Redbirds win and the roof turns red and the players and the coaches come over and celebrate, it's just a wonderful time. And being a Red Alert member, I was able to get my seat and be there and watch the shoot-arounds. And because of that, I was able to meet some, other people and basically, sit with them, start going to games with other friends. Found out some of them are White Sox fans like me, so I actually, we started watching, those games, and we've been to a couple this year. We went up to Guaranteed Rate for a couple games, and they're friends that I met through Red Alert and going to the games. And really, it was an opportunity for me to be myself, and I was going by myself and being myself. And for me, that just meant standing up and being loud and wearing all the Redbird gear that I had. I had it out the night before, because I wanted to make sure that, oh my gosh, do I want to wear the thumbs up, or do I want to wear, the jersey, or what do I want to wear? I was just so excited to be at the games, and basically the Bradley game was the epitome of that. And
so Trevor, before you go into that, I'm going to tell you a story about being a student fan back in the 80s, okay? We'll tell you some dumb thing that Jon Diener and I did. So Pemberton was a player.
They booed me.
I don't know if
they booed me.
Oh, they
no,
booed
we didn't boo.
Oh,
we didn't boo him.
We didn't do it.
All right. So we'll tell you a story of something we did, and then you tell us a story. See if you can top being a zealous fan over this story. I don't even know if you know where I'm going with this one.
I think
but,
I might.
Our you think you know. Our freshman year, we went to the NCAA for the third consecutive year, right? And unlike you, we weren't smart enough to get the football and the basketball package. So we got basketball season tickets, right? We did individual football games. We did all football games too. But so we sat behind the basket on the north end in Horton Fieldhouse, and we wanted really good seats. So you had to get the package. Well, in the prior year, it was first come, first served. You got the best thing. So guess what we did? And this probably never happened after this year, and I'll tell you why. And we went the first one. We camped out multiple nights, okay? Camped out between what were just outside Horton, and Redbird was being built, okay? And that little grassy area there. I think it was 3 nights.
It was 3 nights.
Absolutely.
It was 3 nights.
Like freshman, sophomore, junior year, we would be walking into Horton Fieldhouse for practice, preseason practice and workouts and lifting and all the cardio we were doing and lifting and that stuff. There would be a line of students in tents and sleeping bags all the way around the front of Horton Fieldhouse lined up to get those tickets, right?
We were
so
third.
obviously,
We were third.
I didn't know you guys, but I was walking right past you. Now, of course, I was probably too tired to even recognize anybody because those were 4, 5, 6 hour practices and conditioning sessions. But we were walking in thinking, well, but one of the reasons I picked ISU was Horton Fieldhouse, right? It was so loud. I've told this many times that, you either grabbed your teammate by a jersey and pulled them in and yelled in their ear, or it was hand signals, right? We did a lot of pointing and that stuff, and so, yeah, that was awesome. So you guys camped out. Wow.
We weren't first. We were the second in line.
Oh, I thought we were third.
And then here, no, we were second. So what we had to do to coordinate too, right? Because you didn't want to lose your spot. So it's like, okay, I got classes at this time. We're all going to be back here. Who's going to sleep out overnight? Who's going to be here at this time? You had to coordinate that. So, people were showing. We didn't have cell phones back then. It was all coordinated up front. So
did you chisel it on a stone tablet so that everybody knew?
Stone
exactly.
Tablet,
No computers, no email.
And then you know what ISU did? That was sophomore year. They changed the rules, okay? And they basically went to a lottery system, okay? So all you do is you got a damn number, because I'm sure there was too many people camping out there, okay? They didn't want to have that being done, so they actually changed the system. So after that year, no one camped out. So, Trevor, tell us a story to show us that you're as nuts as Jon Diener is to sit there and camp out 3 days.
So, I don't know if I can top it, but I will at least tell what I've gone through, and you can be the judge. But
all right.
Me and a couple of my friends during the spring, we went to the Dallas Baptist baseball series against ISU, and that was on campus. One of the games was on ESPNU, and it was a really anticipated series. Well, at the same time, there was a softball series with Valpo over, at the softball field. So, you watched the baseball game, and then we went over to the softball game, and we're sitting there in the stands, and we're having a good time. We're definitely having a good time. Let's just say, I had a couple brews, and we were watching the game together, and all of a sudden I look over to my right, and this guy approaches, and I'm like, kind of looks familiar. Well, it was Coach Andrew Dakich, and I was, he comes up to us and introduces. He's like, "Hey, I'm Coach Andrew Dakich," and I'm like, "I know," So I was like, "Hey, So he's talking, and he's like, "Well, how are you doing? You enjoying the game?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we just came from the baseball game, and we're watching some softball, and just having a good time. We heard that there was a doubleheader, so we're there." And he's like, "Well, we have a recruit here that's in the stands that we really want to come to ISU." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. What's his name?" He said, "Well, his name's Ty Pence." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So me and my friends were sitting there, and he goes, it'd be really nice if you could say, it started, "We want Ty, we want Ty." So I was like, I think we could make that happen. So we're sitting there, and then during a quiet point, like in between innings, me and my friends are like, "All right, now." So "We want Ty, we want Ty." So we were just chanting, "We want Ty, we want Ty," and we got an acknowledgement. We got the wave, and people just had a good old time. I mean, it was just so cool being able to see Coach Peden, Coach Dakich, being able to talk to them, but being a part of at a very small and I hope not annoying, but a supportive manner. We were there and doing our recruiting, basically, helping out in the little ways that we could.
You did okay because he verbally committed, so I don't think he was annoyed.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
You know what? Absolutely, I'll take it. So, I mean, welcome aboard. Welcome to Normal. Town founded on industry education and Redbird basketball. So I really enjoy going to those games. I remember just being loud at the softball game, being supportive of the team because they weren't having many fans come. The weather was just terrible. And I remember being there and then doing the chant for Ty Pence and getting the contact, basically getting to talk to the coaches and get ready for the season. And I knew then and there that, we had something special, not only from a supportive, like Redbird fans going to events, during the bad weather, but also just having the coaching staff that was so student friendly. But yeah, and then Bradley. So this year for Bradley was a huge game. I remember going early by myself. My sister and her friend ended up meeting up with me, during the game, and I remember being front and center. I was there. I was the first person there. And one of the student section leaders at the time came up to me and was like, "Hey, every year when we score our first basket, we toss up confetti in the air. It goes everywhere." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't want to be like, oh, I know," but I knew, but it was nice to, to talk to other students, the other student section leader, and get to know who she was. And during the game, the first half, not only basketball-wise, but our student section was really quiet. And I remember there were a lot of people that were sitting down, and it was kind of spotty.
The Redbirds were down quite a large number, were they not?
Yeah, we were down by 20 points in the first half, so it was hard to be. Yeah, I mean, the people. I guess you could call it realism. People were realistic about the fact that we weren't doing well, but all of a sudden, I remember during, right before halftime, we started to go on a little bit of a run, but looking to the other student section leader, because I was kind of like, wow, we really need to get people going, because this is our biggest rival, that we have coming into town, and we're sitting like it's Psych 101, it's very quiet, and I don't like it. I'm standing up, I look like an idiot, but I felt like I was doing the right thing, because it's like, well, I'm standing up throughout the game and being loud and trying to do things during free throws and all kinds of things. But just I remember that second half, and then just slowly but surely people being like, I'll stand up, and I'll stand over by where Bella and I were, and all of a sudden we had more and more people, and the team started catching up. We caught fire, and I remember just winning that game and catching up, but all of a sudden going from having what seemed like a lecture hall kind of a student section to what I remembered watching when I would go to the games and have like the birdcage be full, and like the Osiris Eldridge era, and Dan Moeller with the 16-17 squad beating Wichita State. Those were atmospheres that that really make the Missouri Valley Conference. And honestly, the Redbirds and the Red Alert, I would say, is the best student section in the Valley. But recently we haven't been living up to that, and I think that during that game was really the wake-up call in that second half in particular. And I remember just after the game, just feeling like I played. I mean, I was sweating buckets. I lost my voice. And Bella, the student section leader that came and was like, "Hey, we did. This is our tradition." She comes over and says, "Wow, I've been watching you throughout the game, and you've just been, just letting them have it. Letting the Bradley bench have it. Supporting the guys. We have an opening for the student section lead. Would you want to, be a part of it?" And I said, "Well, yeah, of course. I'm already going to the games and, showing up early and trying to, rally the troops. So, of course, I'll join, whatever I can do for, Reggie and country, so I show, show interest. I sent in my, application and they interviewed me and voila, I from there on, from the Bradley game moving forward, I was a member of the student section leaders, and a Red Alert member. So, yeah, Red Alert, being a member of that was fun. But I remember just the individual sense of, being myself, being there, and trying to get other people to buy in to something that was just really easy to buy into, and that was, having fun and supporting the Birds. So, yeah, that was my, Bradley basically. I remember just losing my voice, and after the game it was. Just raspy and I needed an ice bath. I mean, it was bad. I mean, but it was so good. I mean, just so much fun.
That is awesome. Right? And as a player, you don't know what goes into being a student and enjoying the games, right? And going crazy at the games. And so to hear these stories is just heartwarming to me. They're awesome. I love them. So Trevor, you just were talking about the Bradley game and going crazy. And we're kind of off air and we're kind of chatting about it. From a player's perspective, right, at home, we love it, right? When our student section is going crazy, then the rest of Redbird feeds off that, and we as players feed off that energy. Just as I told everybody, these guys, and I'll tell all the fans, when I go into Drake or any of us Redbird players go into a different, when that fan base is dead quiet, that negative energy that is going toward their own team is fueling us, right? I just want to dunk on them again or take another 3-point play. But at home, right, it's the same thing, right? So on the road, you want it dead quiet because then you're dominating. At home, you want it loud, but if it's quiet, you're not playing well. Things aren't going right. And it's a negative energy toward your own team, and they, you guys yelling helps, right? We feed off that energy. And when there's no energy there, we know we're sucking, right? And if you start to get, and it's a very mental game, right? And that thing. So I love what Red Alert's doing. You were telling us off air. So start telling us tell the fans what Red Alert does and how you guys are trying to help get fans there and to get them energized to be crazy, right? So.
Yeah. So, as I was saying, I would go to games, by myself, and I would stand up. I'd be loud. I'd be one of the people that would try to lead by examples, even before I was a student section leader. Just trying to show what it's like to be, a member of the best, student section in the Valley. And I really think that when we are a unit and we're collective and we're doing, we're giving our best and we're there, we're present. That's when the team and honestly Redbird Arena is at its best, is when we're, basically
100%.
leading chants and we're, clapping and we're making signs. We're just, lighthearted. We're just having fun. And I think that really, will spread to other people. It's contagious. And
It is.
For me, I would go to those games. I would try to lead by example. Well, I know that for a lot of people, it's not as easy just to be one of the only people that's standing up, or it's one of the only people that's going loud, or doing things during free throws. Just being disruptive. Because in a lot of situations, socially, if you're the one person doing something, you're probably the one that's doing something wrong. But for the student section, I felt very much, the people that are sitting down and quiet and hands on, on their phone the whole time, that's not what the student section is about. If you want to be at the game, that's one thing. But don't sit in the student section if you're going to do that. Be loud. Be there, watch the game, support the team. And Red Alert, I know that last year we had, for baseball, we had tailgates before the games. We tried out some tailgates. Awesome. And we had people that would come, and we had food, we had drink, we had games that we could do. And just by being there, you were able to meet other, students and not feel like, oh my gosh, I'm the only one that wants to be loud, because we'd have conversations about it with other fans. It's like, wow, our student section is really quiet and it's really spotty, and we're not, basically, if I can sit in the front row, I'm there. We had people that were just kind of, I would say there in name only. And I think that having those conversations at these tailgates and getting together and finding out that, oh my gosh, there's 5, 10, 15, 50 other people that are in the same boat as I am that really just want someone to go to the games with and be, on the same level as them. And unfortunately, I think a lot of people felt that being quiet and just kind of observing the games was the way to go. And, it's easy to blame COVID. It's easy to blame, bad teams. But, if we can just keep that effort constant, and if we can show up and say, it doesn't matter if we're down by 20, if we're up by 20, let's do our part and let's be, the best fans that we can be, because it will, cause or be the correlation at the very least to some wins. And I think having, those get-togethers, having those, this year we're going to have a tailgate. That was one of the things that we planned over the, the summer, was how are we going to get people to go to the games, be there early, but not just for free stuff. And it, like we were saying for baseball, that really works. So we're going to have that for football this year. Awesome. And my goal, and not just mine, but, Bella and Mason's, is that we have that for basketball. Taste of the Redbirds. I really love doing the Taste of Redbirds. As a townie, it's a wonderful event, that gets people ready for, a Redbird basketball game, particularly a Saturday, usually, anywhere from noon to 3 p.m. But going to that is a great organizer, because it gets people there. It shows that there's a common, reason, that we're here for the birds, but we're also here to have fun. I keep pushing fun because I think that these events that's what they are. They're social events, but, it's basketball, it's football, it's softball, it's baseball, volleyball, you name it. They're enjoyable things to go to.
Absolutely.
And you get to be loud. And I don't know as a student if there's any better bang for your buck on campus than going to, being a part of Red Alert and going to, joining the student section. I mean, I'll show it again, but you get this T-shirt. This is this year's T-shirt. It's the Thumbs Up Reggie, with the cursive. We really wanted to bring back that logo. And
what's on the back of that shirt? I thought I saw letters on the back.
Oh, yeah. So it's actually, our student section is brought to us by Young America. So they do have they're the ones that sponsor the shirts and the student section. So a lot of things that we do is thankful to Young America. But that's what's on the back. But so Young America on the back, and then the fun of the logo and the cursive on the front. But
so Trevor, how many people were in Red Alert last year, and what do you anticipate this year? And what are you guys doing to recruit freshmen?
Yeah, so I don't actually have. I did ask. I don't have the numbers for last year, but I can tell you that this year during preview. So preview is an event where students that are new to ISU, mainly
I did preview.
Freshmen. You did preview? Oh, yeah.
1985 on my birthday.
At preview, we basically promote Red Alert. And what we do is we have a table, and we had a helmet. We had, the T-shirts there. We had, stickers, we had tattoos. But you come up to the table and you ask about, what's Red Alert? And it's the student section. It's our student pass. And it gets you into all of the athletic events and, the T-shirt. But during the summer, we were really, talking to the students, the incoming students, and telling them, what it's like to be a part of the student section. The promotions that we have that are student driven. So last year, we did a basketball jersey giveaway. We did a football jersey giveaway. We did a Bluetooth speaker. At a soccer game, we even had a full-blown scarf, so an official Illinois State Redbirds scarf. This year, we're going to have what we had last year is a Shirt-tember. So throughout September, we're going to have different sporting events that we give away T-shirts. I don't want to give away necessarily some of the details of that because they're more of a surprise, but we do have some really cool themes. One of them is actually going to be a whiteout, so we do have a whiteout planned for a football game, and then we're going to try to do the same for basketball as well. We had a thing called Hatter Day, so we gave away a variety of different hats. So we had a bucket hat, we had a trucker hat, a snapback hat. We had a variety of like a dad hat. We had different kind of designs and different types of hats. So we do a lot of giveaways that are for the students, and if you show up, you get those things. And the other cool thing is that we have with the Redbird Athletic app, as a student, if you go to the games, you check in, you get points just for going to the games, and those points will get you more prizes. So
awesome. There's
just so many free things, and not just crappy free things. I mean, they're really cool things. I mean, some they light up. Sometimes they're they're clothing items, they're hats. I mean, full blown jerseys. So
Trevor,
we also did a thing.
Let me ask a question then. So if some very generous alumni was listening to this podcast, okay, and they wanted to sponsor something, is that something they can do? They can contact Red Alert and you can hook them up and they can sponsor a promotion? Or is that something they have to go through the university or what?
So the best way would be to go through Illinois State Athletics. The Red Alert is run through marketing and the fan experience.
Okay.
So my boss is Brad Geschwender, and he can get a lot of people hooked up with some of the information about how to join Red Alert, and everything that goes into what we do theme wise and the basically the financial side of our student section. So being able to get promotions, making the Bluetooth speakers happen have been historically things through sponsorships, so like Young America. But honestly, I mean, not to be that guy, but money makes the world go round, and it definitely makes it easier to improve that overall experience. So. Yeah, feel free, to donate to Illinois State Athletics and to marketing in particular. That will definitely help the student, experience.
And then, Trevor, this summer, how many people did you guys sign up? You had told me a number.
Yeah, so we had 906 people at preview alone sign up for Red Alert. And that's not just limited, so it's not cut off, and it's not that's the only group of people that are going to be able to buy Red Alert. You can call the student, or excuse me, you can order Red Alert through the ticket office, or you can stop by the ticket office. And we're going to have a preview, or not preview, but we're going to have a welcome week table on the quad, and that's how I actually signed up my first year on campus. Was I went to the welcome week table and saw that they had the shirts and everything, and I said, I got to sign up for that. So being a part of the student section was something that I always wanted to be a part of, and there's multiple opportunities to sign up. And once you sign up, I mean, it's going to be the best thing that you do, and having support from the university, from marketing, and from Young America has been huge. But could always use more help. But yeah,
I'm just spitballing here. But if Jon Pemberton donated some autograph, does that drive up the red alert? Or does it take it down?
No, they'll just get rid of the entire program. That would be over. The athletic department would be like, John who? Oh, I'm sorry. Red Alert's canceled. We're getting rid of it, right?
We could have a before and after picture.
Why?
With John signing it. Number 53. No?
Yeah, I think that would drive it. I mean, honestly, if we could just get not as many of those as possible, we gotta keep it exclusive. But if we could have a couple of those things, bring the students in and put it on the mantle, display it proudly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, John, you're on the hook now.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for getting me in trouble with Red Alert in the athletic department. I do a fine enough job getting myself in trouble with the department without your help, Steve. Thank you. All right, Trevor. Any closing words or anything you want to add before we close here?
So, my big thing would be the Illinois State Athletics is in a really good spot right now, and I think that the student section, if you're a student listening to this, or if you're a parent, or even if you just know someone who's a student, join Red Alert. It's a wonderful opportunity to meet people, but it's a great bang for your buck. There's so many things that we do. From this year, we're going to have a viewing party for the Wisconsin football game.
Awesome.
We're going to have, basically, those promotions from, like shirts to hats to, Bluetooth speakers. Now, those are going to change, so I can't necessarily say what those are for this year, but those are the things that we did last year. And I know that with the new coaching staff, with whether that's for volleyball or for soccer or for, with men's basketball, I would say go to as many of the events as you can and be supportive of Redbird Athletics. I think the best way that, ISU is going to grow is by having fans that are supportive of ISU all the time, and that it makes it their, that is their passion. And I love that ISU has given me an opportunity to be myself and to help out, other students with, what do they want to do, on, say Wednesday night, go to the games. And the student section this year, I can assure you, is going to be so much more lively. And I think that it's just going to be a complete, 180 in our environment and overall experience, come game day. So roll birds, join the student section if you can. But if you're not a student, that's okay. We'd love to see you out at Redbird Arena at Hancock Stadium and, cheering on what should be a playoff team and hopefully the NCAA tournament appearance.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, Trevor, thank you very much for being on Bird Friends Forever podcast. Really appreciate it. So, this is episode 15, and thank you, everybody. And Mr. Engineer, you ready to take us out?